Today is a Saturday for us. Welcome to Shubhankar. Thanks for coming in.
Hi.
I get a lot of questions from potential clients and also just new clients that like, hey, how do I transition over from a low ticket offer into something that's high ticket? I've never charged high ticket my entire life. And what does that look like? So today, Shubhankar, him charging the price that he's at now is a very big deal because of where he's located in the world. So for him, it's actually like in your own currency, Shubhankar, how much is your high ticket when
It's
you had to
it's uh
stretch it?
it's $2,000 is around 150,000 rupees for me.
It's what? Say that again.
150,000 rupees.
Yeah. So going from like a few hundred uh $2,000 is 150,000 rupees. So just think about charging $150,000 for what you have to offer. That is the stretch that Shubhankar had to go through. And if you experience that yourself, where you're like, hey, I am charging low ticket, I know I have to charge high ticket, type one in the comments. And also let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm over here in Miami. Shubhankar, where are you in the world?
So I'm from Bangalore in India.
Nice. All right, so let's dive into your story, Shapanka. First of all, thank you for showing up today. I love to interview
Thank
my clients periodically to see where they're at, as well as to really showcase their progress as they're going through, because you have made considerable strides, and we'll dive into that. When you first started, so what made you go into this crazy world of monetizing from Facebook groups? How did you go down this rabbit hole to eventually entering into Ignite?
you. Yes. So first of all, this is my third interview, and I'm like super happy to give in more interviews. And when I was like initially starting out, I knew Facebook groups was the way, right? Because we had to do communities because for a simple fact that I didn't have the ad budget, I didn't have complicated funnels, I didn't have like the whole software, a huge tech team behind me. It's just me and one more intern of mine home. It's just two people together, and I was like, dude, there has to be a way. And I knew that Facebook groups was the way. It was a way to build digital tribes and monetize your Facebook groups. And then I went on this whole, what I call it as bits and pieces hunting, take a little bit from here. Someone said, okay. Then I came across GroupConvert. I was like, okay, I installed GroupConvert. And what do I do next about it? And I started looking bits and pieces over here. Someone told me do this. Someone told me do this. Someone was like, hey, you know what? Do all of this. And then I came across you DM me. I joined the support group and you DM me. I was like, hey, what inspired you to join this community? And I shared this. Hey, you know what? I really want to build Facebook groups. And trust me, though we're selling 2K ticket offers, our ad spend this time is $100. Like legit, our ad spend is $100. A lot of it is just organic, just maintaining our Facebook group using the GroupConvert extension. I was like, okay, hey, this is working, so we're just focusing on scaling that. I was looking for an actual system, and I got the system here in Ignite.
Awesome. So and by the way, can you hear me now? I switched over to the
Yes.
microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
So Shubhankar knew from the get-go that Facebook groups were super important. And he came into our world using the little Chrome extension, which is, if you guys have GroupConvert type GC, if you don't know what the heck that is, I'll tell you. It's a Chrome extension that lets you collect emails from your Facebook group. So it's just very simple, groupconvert.com. But from that, it enables users to get emails and questions and answers from their Facebook group so that they can start talking to their group members immediately. The real problem is that not only is it just getting emails from Facebook groups, really you're trying to solve the problem of monetizing from your Facebook group. And so you knew that it was the way. So how come, let's say, did you try much of like Facebook group monetization on your own a lot? And what were your results before you entered Ignite? Like what did that look like? Because you already knew Facebook groups was it. We didn't try to convince you into it.
So I was in the approach in what we call it as your karma approach, meaning just do something and hope and pray that it fits well and someone drops in. You just like, just hope like, dude, I just hope we get someone, right? Is trying to figure out, randomly invite people. Hey, I'm building this community. When they come into the community, you don't know what to do. You know where to place the banner, where to place the booking link, where to place the guides. Nothing. So I was just trying all of this. It was just random stuff. It didn't work. And when I started my Facebook group, when I used the GroupConvert extension, I close to had like around 71 people. Now we have close to 473. We're gonna hit 500 soon. So that was the thing. And one of the main things for me was, even after I got into Ignite and I was like, doing things, so here's the thing I want to tell you. In 2019, like 2019, what I made in 1 year, we made that in the first week of January. And I'm not even joking. What I made in one whole year, that's what I made in like the first week of January. That's legit. And what my friends, like, just the same age of mine, would make in probably a month, in a whole year, that's what we made in almost like 20-25 days, just by using the Ignite system. And I want to share this turning point which happened. In my last interview, I had shared like, hey, you know what? I want to hit pause and rebrand, right? Because I was doing something, I was doing the same thing, and I was like, because I would come to the coaching call and everybody would be selling like 5K, 3K products, 7K, and I was like, dude, I need to do something, man. I was like, okay, let's hit pause. And you had told me investing is always good. I legit hired people, okay, spent some stuff, got a brand new landing page, got a brand new offer, and guess what we did? We double, tripled our prices without any explanation. Like,
Yeah.
just double, triple our prices. Like, I got a content writer, designed a new landing page, designed our offers, changed the messaging, rebranding, and just like almost like, yeah, it was like, yeah, we one almost 2.5 times our ticket size, just like without explanation, just by rebranding and using the principles, because we were offering the value. And I was too hesitant to even ask. And one time I was like, you know what, screw it. Because everybody in Ignite I saw was offering like 2K, 5K, 7K, and I was like in 500, 800, 900. I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to order 2000. So that was a huge turning point. And I realized people are always willing to pay. I just never asked them.
Yeah, so something, Shubhankar, that you mentioned. By the way, hey Jess, hey guys. So if you're just jumping in, let me know where you're tuning in from, and if you have the same struggle as Shubhankar used to have, where it's like, hey, I want to charge a couple $100 here. By the way, with Shubhankar's conversion rate, $2,000 is 150,000 rupees. So it's a big stretch for him. And something that you mentioned that's really important was you were seeing other people in Ignite closing deals and offering $3,000 packages, $5,000 packages, some of them 10,000, and you're like, wait, what? Like, why am I not
Yeah.
why am I not effortlessly jumping into that role as myself? Hey Jess, Jess is from Alberta, Canada. Hey, and then hey Facebook user, let me know who you are. All right, so you being a part, this is something that I always say, as part of Ignite, it's the community that is the most important thing. Because when you are maybe in your own head, in your own way, the community and seeing other people being able to convert and sell at that next level than you causes you to move mountains. And that's what Shubhankar did. He's like, I'm gonna invest in myself. I'm gonna figure out why I'm not converting at this amount, and I'm just gonna double and triple the prices. And there was an experiment with wine, where they blindfold people and they have them taste the same wine, but three different prices, three different cups. One is cheap, one is like middle, and then one is super expensive. And they attribute the value of the wine as the best wine being the expensive one, even when it's the same exact wine. All three cups were the same wine. So price itself we found that price itself adds to the value of the offer itself, just price alone. So Shubhankar, so when you rebranded, and I know the last time that we interviewed you, you're like, okay, I'm running Facebook ads, I'm doing all these things, but I'm not getting the results that I want. Is it just that price increase and the rebranding of like, did you change anything internally on the back end? Let me know, like, what is it that changed this time, or is it the front end stuff? And
Okay.
that's fine too. Let me know.
So here's the thing. I'm going to divide it into two parts. The
Yeah.
interesting part is I got my team also involved into Ignite, right? And I
Yeah.
realized when I came to your calls is that you offered generous amounts of, I think there's something you told two people in your team. You make sure your team members also made money and some things like that. I remember you sharing something like, would you want 100% of $100,000 or 60% of $1 million? I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. Here's what I did. I asked Angel because one of the things which where we lacked was mostly social selling and those things because other things we could figure out. I got my team involved and they would sit and they looked at me like, wait a minute, these numbers are possible because I realized just me knowing those numbers, me knowing the approach, especially like I said, I had seen these numbers like 10K, 100K, 50K, 80K. They hadn't seen them. Like, okay, I want to expose you to those. And I would like give them assignments. Hey, watch this video, make notes, come and tell me what you learned. And I started giving them incentives. And guess what? They started getting more results also. Like I got my team also involved, like especially I don't have a big team, I just have two people. I got them also involved in the program in specific calls, whatever was relevant to them. And I followed your model and I said, hey, you know what, let's all win. And their mindset expanded. As a result, they're like, you know what, we can also actually make a lot of money, why not? So that's the first part, and they worked really hard and they got better results and everyone's happy and everyone's making huge cuts. The second thing is I realized messaging is everything. Like, for example, and messaging and targeting was making a lot of difference. Like, before my message was, I'm going to show you how to build a brand with $0. I realized it was a reflection of my mindset because when I put that $0 thing, I would attract people without money and they'd come in with the mindset of no money.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, okay, this is bad. It's not going to work out. We made it simple. I want to show
Yeah.
you how to build like a premium coaching brand. Like we are going to help you build a premium brand. And guess what? I started only attracting people who are 15 years experience, 20 years experience, who are executives. I removed it, changed the messaging completely. And though the inside nitty-gritties of the coaching didn't change too much, it was the same. Two things mattered a lot. One, making sure my team's mindset expanded. Number two, just my approach of my messaging, how I put forth across, being unapologetic, saying, you know what, and most importantly, telling no to clients who didn't fit. Like I was really scared to tell no because you know what, hey, if they're not buying my 2000 thing, they might buy my low end product which is like 200, 300, or even $500. I'm like, okay, you know what, I need to tell no to these people. So these changes like just like gave a lot of leverage to us, like completely going from this low ticket thing to just going to $2000 straight away, especially the messaging part, telling and finding the right people and just going premium unapologetically. So that really helped.
I love that. I love those two things you mentioned, and I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper into that. Hey guys, if you are watching this and you are yourself like struggling to go from 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 1,000 to 3,000, let me know. Put a one in the comments. And also, if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. So Shubhankar, you mentioned two things that are super important. One is that you plugged in your team. What I've discovered is if your team is really like an extension of you, and if they don't believe, they don't see it, they don't see it's possible, it's really hard for you to train them to be able to do these things. And so for us in Ignite, we let you plug in your team, we let your team come along, because when your team comes along, and we're going to answer this question from Jess in a little bit, what you do, Shubhankar, because I guess we've been kind of vague.
Okay.
So, having your team show up in our calls and team being plugged in to the information inside of Ignite, it's not just you witnessing that things are possible, that people are closing $10,000 deals. Rochelle just did over $7,000. Her first launch ever was 26,000. So you're seeing these things, and that's not enough, because if you have team members and they don't see it too, it's going to be hard to convince them, but they're a part of that process and they see it. The second thing you mentioned was that messaging is everything. When you were attracting the wrong people, as in like you can do this with $0, you were attracting $0 people. And unapologetically stepping into charging premium and staying premium was something that you stepped into. Let me ask you this question, because this is something that I feel people ask me a lot. Do I need to slowly get up to that, as in increase my price slowly? Do you think that you could have started premium and stayed premium, and then save yourself a lot of headache? Or do you feel like it is something that you have to ramp up to? I know that you told me you start off lower and you start increase, but could you have done this many, many months ago?
So the answer is I wish I had done it, because it was this mindset that, hey, you know what, you need to climb the ladder slowly, like go from, okay, I after getting from, before Ignite I was into 500. After getting to Ignite I was around touching around 800 to 1000. I was like, okay, fine, but I was like, you know what, no, 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 let me pause, let me hit pause. Okay, there is no reason for me to go the slow ladder, because I'm actually adding value, right? I'm teaching people how to build like profitable coaching brands. It really adds a lot of value. My clients are getting results. I don't need to go like the step by step way. And I also think that the rebranding thing which I did was for like my mental peace, to tell, give justification to myself as to why I'm doubling the price, like for my inner peace. And I genuinely wish, now it's a good thing that happened, but I feel it's more like a mental game for me. Hey, you know what, we rebranded, that justifies why we can double, or more than double our prices. So I could have done it way before. It's just after I charged I realized that, hey, you know what, maybe it's a mental game for me personally. So if someone's out there, you know what, maybe just stop and invest in someone. Okay, especially let's say for example this coaching, that gives you a lot of inner justification, like, hey, you know what, I've invested this much, this is like a, I deserve to charge more also. Hey, you know what, I've invested in a great copywriter, like you had invested in a copywriter. Hey, you know what, I invested in let's say something like getting a brand new automations, marketing automation system, so I deserve to charge more. So, and as crazy as this may sound, you will start charging high ticket if you invest high ticket. I don't know how many align to this concept, but this is legit as work for me. Like, dude, like getting people, like hiring, like I hired an actual video marketer for me, right? And which video marketing is a small part, and I just started hiring specialists. Like someone was only a YouTube ad specialist because you had done a session on YouTube ads. Okay, I want, and most importantly, I hired people to train my team. So when I started investing, it somehow gave me this internal justification. You know what, I can also charge more. So coming to this, no, you don't need to go the step by step. As crazy as it might seem, the easiest way for you to just like double triple your prices is, if you invest high ticket, you get the confidence to like get high ticket clients, like, or else it would be like hard because you've never dealt with that kind of numbers. I don't know if you believe in this theory, but I believe this. Like,
I believe it 100%, Shubhankar. That's why I charged low ticket until I invested $30,000 for my first coach.
yeah.
And I didn't really have, the income for it. I just did the payment plan, and I'm like, but even putting in a payment plan option, that number 30,000 was still in my head. And in the very next month, I did $46,000 collected. So I'm like, whoa, investing in this amount, even if it was on the payment plan, made me really think about the big number and then go. And so when I show up to coaching calls, when I ask people for like something like 10,000, I'm still thinking I invested 30,000. So asking them for 10,000 is like no big deal. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry. I do that to myself. You invest in me too. And it just the mere act of putting down the money is such a big the thing that I know with sales is that you can your technique can be so in terms of sales. Like you don't need to be like crazy with all the techniques. The 80% of the sale will be your conviction. And so if you truly believe in your program, the thing that tips it over for people to enroll in you is they see that belief of you in yourself, that belief in yourself. And the belief in yourself is strengthened when you put down that money and invest in yourself. Because it's not about paying for a program or paying for a copywriter or paying for, a video editor. It is saying that I put money on myself. And if I put money on myself willingly, energetically, enthusiastically, why wouldn't you invest in yourself with me? So
True.
that conviction is so strong. So Jess is asking, what does Shubhankar offer? We'd love to hear what he does. So Shubhankar, what do you offer?
So
Let's talk
I
about that.
so what I do is I'm a storyteller and a brand strategist. I work specifically with coaches on how they can build premium brands. I work on the branding, the packaging, the complete social media, your messaging and everything. I call myself a coach, branding strategist, and a storyteller. I help you build a premium coaching brand around your story. That's what I
Nice.
do.
And
And
go
I
ahead.
wanted to add one thing. Sorry to cut you off. You
No
mentioned
problem.
that like investing is important. One thing I realize a lot of time is it's investing the money which you don't have or which you think is like hard, because you always think like, hey, when I get this one, I'm gonna hire the video editor. Hey, when I get this one, I'm gonna hire this. When I get the money, I'm gonna do this. But the thing is, it's the other way around. It's like unless you get these people, you're never gonna probably get the hire ticket. Like this was like a huge thing for me, which I realized.
When
So
did when did you realize that, Shubhankar? Because I do have people come to me a year ago, and you know what they say? They're like, when I get more clients, I will have those clients pay for me to come into this program. And it's like a year ago. And I'm like, all right, the reason why we're on this call is because you can't get clients and it's hard for you to get clients.
yeah,
But you tell me you're going to go out there, do the thing that you are on this call for me to help you do, and then you will come back to me. And I'm like, okay, sure, go. And then they go and they try it. A year later, they come back. They're like, Kim, you're right. Like, and I'm like, so what happened in a year? And they're like, I only made a couple $1,000s. And I'm like, all right, you ready to do this now? And they're like, yeah. And this has been a consistent, just like now that I've been in this business for like 2 years, now I have people that a year ago they said no and they're coming back this year. So it's been really interesting that I experienced that. But it's the same analogy as this. You're going to a brain, you're going into surgery, or you're going to a doctor's office, and the doctor's like, you need brain surgery for whatever reason, right? I'm gonna be your surgeon. And then you're like, oh, okay, you know what? Let's pause here. I'm gonna go out there, perform it on myself, and then I'll come back to you. It's kind of like, like you're there because you don't know. You don't know how to convert consistently. You don't know how to do that thing yet. And you're having a conversation to figure out how to like invest in yourself to learn, not only learn, but to implement. And then you're like, pause, wait a minute, I'm just gonna go out there, fix everything, and then come back. And what I found is that when it's people come up to you, Shubhankar, probably thinking that you solve one thing or you're like fixing that one thing for them. They think that conversion or brand is like a few pictures or something like that, and they can like put it together. When it's really what they don't know that they don't know that you're
yeah,
bringing to the table. And so the mistake that I hear, like people who talk to me or potential clients who later on say no but regret it, is that they think that it's just, oh, you set up a Facebook group and I know how to do all these things, so I'm going to go do it, and like I don't need to learn this. But they really don't know the 80% that they don't know. And so they will go out there. For me, I always invest in solutions. So I would rather pay a coach like money, wire transfer them, have them fly to me, figure it out, spend a whole day with them, than do it the long, agonizing way of going on YouTube and watching a bunch of YouTube
yeah.
videos. So for me, investing is such a big thing, and you're in this conversation for a reason. It's because it hasn't worked out. Unless you're just shopping around, which then
Yeah.
oh
Some people
well.
do that. Like, has you like, we're in fruitful talks with many people. We're willing to see what you bring to the table. I was like, cool. You know what? make your mind and come. I've heard these things. It was new to me also. I was like, what do you mean by fruitful talks with many people? What do you mean what I bring to the table? So all these things, I kind of get it. But the borderline is what you said. Like, and I truly believe that it's very hard for you to charge more than the coaching program which you are a part of. Like, I legit believe that. So yeah.
Yeah, it became easier for me to charge $30,000 when I invested in something that's $30,000 myself.
Yes.
Same thing with everything else. Like if I've only invested $1,000 in coaching, it's really hard for me to ask for 10, 20, 30, right? I believe in that as well. So going back to the question, Shapankar, and we have a few, like a couple of minutes left, like 5 minutes left. I want to wrap this up by asking, what is it about like the Ignite program that you felt was different than the other programs you've been in? Did we force you to up your pricing? Did we say, hey, you got to do this or else it's not going to work out for you? Or did you come into that realization with our support? Like how was the way that we have you in the program made you come into your own success? Is it forceful or is it?
No.
So tell me your experience.
So one of the things is like I've been into coaching like since I was 17. Like now I'm 24. I've done a lot of these things, and I remember one line which stuck with me, which you had mentioned in my the first 5 day challenges. You don't need more courses. You need a coach. Like you don't need more courses, you need a coach. The biggest people which people think is a knowledge problem. I don't think it's a knowledge problem for majority of people, because knowledge is like, at least now it's free everywhere. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Udemy, you can pay like 1,000 rupees, or which is like $110 or whatever it is, and you can get a course, you can get knowledge is available everywhere. But what I think, it's like the whole package system which is tested and which works, and learning it from someone who has gotten results versus someone who gives just data and information. So when I came to Ignite, I keep saying the same thing. The first few months was, the right word was like intimidating. Like I was the only guy who would show up to calls. I was like sit with just in mute with all these people talking big numbers, and it took me months to just analyze the data, and then I slowly understand the numbers, and then slowly I went to hundreds of dollars, slowly up. And one point I had this breaking point, like, you know what, it's just too much. I mean, it's like, I don't need to go through this whole thing. Let me hit pause, because I remember one event wasn't that great. Okay, one event wasn't that great because the ads didn't go well, something didn't go well, and I really wanted to just stop doing it. Okay, let's stop. Okay, it's okay if I lose money a month because I need to pay my team and everything. Let's reevaluate everything completely. And that's when I decided to get my team involved at Ignite, because I realized they didn't believe in that the numbers were possible. And it's not their fault either, because they haven't seen the numbers either, right? So for them, it was like $200 was a lot, 300, 400, 500 was a lot. And I got them into Ignite, and I made sure they took notes. They watched the calls, and I made notes and, hey, explain it to me. And they were like, hey, you know what? The quote was, these are all high net worth people. I'm like, no, they're not high net worth people. They're just people like us who just figured out a way to build it. And I was like, you know what, we can also do it. I'm like, yeah, we can also do it. I'm gonna give you and everything. So that's where we completely transformed. And I realized, if I had to describe Ignite, it's in terms of breakthroughs, not like a slow gradual thing. It's like, hey, breakthroughs. So it's been a game of breakthroughs. And let's see, my next breakthrough I'm looking at is like around a 5,000, $3,000 to $5,000 offer. So let's look into it. That's my next thing.
Absolutely. And the difference between 2,000 to 5,000 for the right people is nothing. That difference is like
True.
nothing, Shubhankar. So
True.
I love what you said, which is the breaking point was that, and I like your honesty. You said one launch didn't work out. It wasn't successful. And then now you're like, in 1 month, you made more in the whole year. And this is just the beginning, really.
Yeah.
But it was for you a processing because we have clients who come here and I interview them and they're like, yeah, in 3 weeks with Kim, I did $52,000. In 3 weeks with Kim, I did $26,000. And I'm interviewing you as well to say that for some clients, it is a consumption of the material, and then you go and you start charging your price, but you yourself realize that this is something that the other people aren't so smarter or so much more, they're not coming from wealth. It's really that they decided to charge more and they decided to step into that. And you saw it was possible for yourself, but you needed your team to be behind you as well. And then you added them into Ignite to go and learn from our coaching calls. And then they believed it. And so they were behind you, and you combined with your team went out and actually made an amazing launch for yourself. So I love that, Shubhankar. I love that there are seasons in your life where it's like you pause, you reassess, and you rebrand, and you try something new, and not changing much of the back end, but changing the way that people were thinking, the way that your team thought. So that's such a big insight right there, because if your team doesn't believe in what's true, then it's going to be hard for you to push forward, because your team is everything, right? Yes, and June is like, great stuff. Love your breakthroughs, Shubhankar. Yay. You guys, if you guys are getting value from this interview, let me know. Drop a 1 in the comments. And also, we're wrapping this up today. And I want to, number one, ask 2 questions. One, if someone's on the fence of joining Ignite, what do you say to them? And then number 2, where can they find you to help build their brand, and also to get help from you? Where can we find you online, Shubhankar?
Awesome. So if someone's on the fence, the first thing that I say is book your call. I'm sure there's a slot there. She might put up a link. Please book your call. And I still remember like Kim's line, like, we don't believe in hard sells, we believe in warm welcomes. It's not going to be a sales thing. They're going to genuinely add value. I still remember the call which I had with Daily Ali, which was like a game changer by itself. Book your call first, and it's going to be an amazing journey. And I assure you that they're going to pitch you and take you in if they feel that it's a right fit for you. It's not like just selling something randomly, and there's a lot of value involved. So book your call first. Second, if someone wants to find me, just Google my name, Shubhankar Storyteller. And I work mostly with one-to-one or group coaches and help build their coaching brands. So you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can find me on Instagram. You can find me anywhere. Just Google Shubhankar Storyteller. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Shubhankar, for spending this time with me
Awesome.
today. This will not be our last interview. I will continue interviewing you as you scale, because I'm so excited that in 1 month you made more than the entire last year. And that is something that we don't take lightly here. That is incredible. So congratulations for your success.
Awesome.
And I will talk to you soon. So I'm going to put you into the green room, Shubhankar.
Sure.
So you can go ahead and click the X. So Shubhankar, that's Shubhankar's story, you guys. He is just incredible. He is not from the US. And I want you to know that this is not something that's location-based, type of life, right? To step into helping others, you can do it from anywhere in the world, no matter where you are. And the mentality, the things that hold you back is not isolated to the type of person you are. It's very universal to all types of people, right? We can get in our own ways, but being in a community where you're witnessing all these wins, you can plug in your team, you can go and overcome not only like the tech stuff, the conversion, but yourself, the mental things that are holding you back is so powerful. And that's why for me, I continuously invest in my own education, in my own coaches. A coach got to have a coach. The cart is closed. So if you didn't book a call, then let me know, #call below. Otherwise, our calendar is pretty much filled out already for the next week. If you're slightly on the fence and just considering, again, we want to make sure you're as good as a fit for us as we are for you. So that's why we do have a conversation, and that call itself is a strategy call. So it's not like you come in and we're like, hey, are you a good fit or not? It is, hey, these are the things I think you can do, and it looks like you're a good fit. So I'm going to tell you what's inside of our program. All right, if you need more time to watch the replays, then hashtag more time and put it below in the comments. We're keeping the group open for just a little bit while longer this time, just because there's so many people. So many of you guys say, hey, I want more time. We've removed a lot of you already, and the group will collapse by the end. If you are watching this from the 5-day training group, it's going to be collapsed. We're kicking everyone out. So if you want to continue this journey with us, make sure that you do schedule a call. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. And don't forget to watch the other interviews. The one with Rochelle is incredible. The one with Cecilia, incredible. All these amazing, incredible people. The one with Michael Guzman. Don't forget to watch those interviews and replays as you scroll around in the group. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh yeah, if you like that video, then you will love all the resources that I have over at kimcdang.com. That is KIMCDANG.com. There you will find all my courses, my extensions, all the offers that I have, as well as a lot of free resources if you are just getting started.